Chapter 2 The First Day of 7th Grade. 7 years later, not much had changed. The sleepy little town of Shiloh went about its usual business. Summer had just ended, and school was about to start again, just like it did every year, for as long as the town existed. Behind the church, on the back streets of Maple Drive, sat a little white house. It wasn't special. It wasn't even eye-catching. It was just there, in the middle of a long row of other ordinary white houses. Inside lived the same girl that had lived there since the day she was born. Yup, that's me, Sophia Twait. Everything was the same, except my excitement for school. It faded over the years, as most kids' enthusiasm does. I lay on my bed, with a pillow over my head. I was trying to block out the sound of my sisters running around. I knew I should get up, but I was in no hurry. "Sophia, you're going to be late for school," my mom yelled up the stairs. "What?" I asked sleepily. I looked over at my clock. I was 15 minutes behind my getting ready schedule. I guess it was later than I thought. It wasn't my fault, though, or at least, not entirely. Summer just ended, so I wasn't used to the whole school schedule yet. Plus, I forgot to set my alarm, so it may have caused me to start off late, too. "Oh," I moaned. I stood up and rubbed my eyes. "Sophia, let's go! You haven't even eaten yet," my mom yelled again. I sleepily walked over to my closet to find something to wear. I think I'll wear this purple sweater, I said to myself. I knelt down to the bottom dresser drawer to grab a pair of jeans. Yep, another boring school year was about to begin. I walked to the bathroom door to find it locked. I'll never have time to take a shower and get dressed now. "Come on, we need to get ready," I said with a yawn. "Too bad, it's my turn," my little sister, Isabel, yelled from inside. "Oh no, she takes the longest to get ready. She is the biggest bathroom hog in the world." "Hurry up," I moaned. "Don't be so pushy. It's my first day too." Just perfect. I'll be late for sure now. I decided to go downstairs and eat breakfast before getting dressed. I walked halfway down the steps when I heard my mom gasp at the sight of me. "Sophia, you're not dressed yet?" I know. Isabel's in the bathroom," I tried to explain. "I thought it'd be better to eat something instead of sitting there waiting." "You're going to be late," she mumbled under her breath. Every girl in my family has strawberry blonde hair. My mom says we're blessed, but I think it's a curse. She says we should be proud to be Irish. I don't mind my heritage, but I wish my skin wasn't so pale. And I wished it did more than just burn in the sun. I wish I didn't have so many freckles. And I wished I could have been a little taller. Being short is one thing, but being the shortest girl in your school, it's old at times. I'm the type of girl that tries to blend in, but my appearance makes it hard not to stick out. The strange triplet, also known as Kita, was sitting at the kitchen table with a plate of mashed potatoes. Today, she was making a small town out of her food, complete with a hospital and little nurses walking in and out. I had to admit, the girl had incredible talent. The last triplet came out from the living room with a sly look on her face. She threw a book at me and snickered. "Your diary hinge fell off," she mocked. She is, in my opinion, the evil triplet. An evil little grin began to form across her face. She sat down at the table next to Kita. "You read my diary?" I screamed. "Mom! Don't mom me, I'm late for work," she said in a panic. She glanced at the clock quickly then ran back to her bedroom. "You're such a little brat, Sydney," I yelled. But I could tell my anger just made her feel more victorious. "At least I'm not in love with Alex Stone," she teased. My face turned red, but I quickly snapped out of it. "Shut it, Sydney," I demanded. "Make me," she said with a bring-it-on look. "Who is Alex Stone?" Kita asked. "He's no one," I said quickly. "Mind your own business," Sydney ordered. She grabbed an orange from the fruit dish in the center of the table and smashed Kita's mashed potato village. Kita sighed and left the kitchen. She was hurt by what Sydney did, but also kind of used to it. Isabel finally walked down the steps in a little yellow dress to her knees. She looked me over and started giggling. "You aren't going in that, are you?" she asked. I looked down at my pajamas and sighed. "No, I just haven't had time to get ready yet. Maybe if someone wasn't such a bathroom hog." "Well, you better get ready soon," she said simply. She skipped down to the kitchen and poured herself some cereal. I could not believe her. How annoying could she be? I ran up the steps, put my diary away, and jumped in the shower. After I finished getting ready, I ran back down the stairs, grabbed my lunch, and ran out the door. Looks like no breakfast for me. My mom started honking the horn, meaning I was very, very late. When we reached the middle school, I ran through the front doors as fast as I could. Now where can my locker be? My locker number is 587. I hope I'm close. I got into the locker I stood next to, locker 23. No, this cannot be happening. I ran around looking for my locker, praying the tardy bell wouldn't go off as I searched. I finally found it in the East Hall. Now if I can remember my combination, I just might make it to class in time. I entered my combination, but it wouldn't work. You have got to be kidding me. Ring, went the bell. Oh yeah, late on the first day of school. I'll make a great first impression. I banged my head on the locker door. This is it for me. I can't even get my stupid locker open. "Hey, Sophie," a familiar voice called out of nowhere. I looked up to find Tommy standing next to me. "It's awesome our lockers are so close, unlike last year." She pushed her long brown hair behind her shoulders and smiled. She wore a baggy black t-shirt her brother outgrew, and her baggy jeans with holes in the knees. Her clothes didn't look like a proper first day of school outfit, but it didn't have to. For Tommy, the first day was just as pointless, if not more so, than any other day of school. But that didn't matter. All that mattered was, maybe, she could help me make it to class. "Tommy, thank God you're here. Can you help me with my locker?" I begged. From the sound of my voice, I was even freaking myself out a bit. She looked at me strangely, but decided to help. She pushed me away from the locker door and reached in her deep pockets for a tool. She pulled out a bobby pin and started to fiddle with the lock. "What are you doing?" I asked curiously. I didn't understand her method. "If you place this in a certain way, it'll open without breaking the lock. I did it all the time last year," she reassured. "Is that yours?" I asked in a teasing sort of way. It wasn't natural for a tomboy to own a bobby pin. "No, I found it," she said quickly. "Are you sure about that?" I laughed. She folded her arms. "Do you want me to open it or not?" "Yes, sorry, go ahead." She shoved the bobby pin inside the lock and click. My locker opened. "Thank you so much." "No problem." She leaned against her locker as she waited for me. "Wait," I said while opening my locker wider. "Now that I think about it, what are you doing in the halls right now?" I put my backpack away and gathered supplies for my first hour classes. "I'm late too," she said calmly. "Except I choose to be." "Oh no, not this again. I thought you learned your lesson from last year, and the year before that." "I have learned. I learned how smart of an idea it is," she argued. "Even on the first day?" I shut my locker as I listened to her response. "Especially the first day," she said as she prepared to state her arguments. She opened her locker and began. When you're late, the teacher remembers your name faster. When she knows your name, she won't ask for it all the time. And trust me, when teachers ask for your name, it gets really annoying. I never understood how Tommy thought, and I probably never would. I glanced up and down the hall as I waited for her to get her things. Aren't you bringing anything? I looked up at the clock and prayed the teacher wouldn't be too upset with us. She slammed her locker shut. Just a stick of gum, she answered. She slipped the gum in her mouth and smiled with a rebellious rush. Okay, let's go, I said in a panic. I started running to class as fast as I could. Tommy just casually walked behind me, as if she wasn't late at all. I entered the classroom just as the teacher was finishing up the attendance. I could tell she already passed my name. Tommy Veronix? The teacher called. She looked around the room. The door swung open, hitting the wall with a loud bang. Here, Tommy yelled. She had perfect timing. I thought it was so neat. The teacher didn't look too pleased, though. She stood in front of my desk for a moment, staring at me. You must be Sophia Quaid, then, she said, annoyed. She had the creepiest eyes I'd ever seen. They actually appeared to flash in her anger. Yes, I stumbled as I sank in my seat. I'm Miss Stevens, she said angrily. Her lips were thin and appeared tight as she spoke. I don't like children who think it's okay to be tardy. Whether it's the first day or the last day, you will show up on time. Do you understand? I nodded and bit my lip. She looked in Tommy's direction next. That goes for you too. Tommy leaned back in her chair with her arms folded behind her head. Don't count on it, she said sarcastically. A few kids laughed, but I could tell Miss Stevens was not in the mood for a smart aleck. I'd never seen a teacher so upset on the first day of school. Miss Stevens paced around the room as she explained more rules for her classroom. Her dishwater blonde hair was put in a tight bun, and not a single strand was out of place. She was unbelievably skinny. I bet hugging her would be like hugging a skeleton. A few people behind me were whispering to each other, saying how pretty she was. I bet she could be a model, I heard someone say. I agreed with them. I would like her to be anything other than my teacher. I had a feeling this year was going to be a long one. The only good thing about my first hour class, besides Tommy and Lydia being in it, was Alex being in it. I've had a crush on him for as long as I can remember. He wasn't like any other guy around here. He had a different mindset. He was more mature than most kids our age. He was so kind to everyone, and had the cutest smile. I could talk about him all day and never run out of things to say. The only problem is getting him to notice me. And if he ever did notice me, will he even like me? This was a question I'd been too afraid to answer for way too long.